All right, welcome back to another edition of One Take, brought to you, of course, by the TAB. And what a weekend we were treated to over in Magic Round, topped off with a famous win against the Cowboys. So we thought, who better to get on the couch this week than one of the men of the moment, the new Warrior number 291, Sam Healey. Welcome, bro.
Thanks for having me, lads.
What I wanted to do today, bro, talk a little bit about the week leading up, the game itself, and then a little bit of your journey as well for Warriors fans who might not know that much about you, bro. So we'll start with the week leading up. When did you find out? Did you have any hints? What was the emotions when Webby gave you the call?
I found out on Tuesday at training when Webby announced the team. I sort of had a little bit of an inkling when Stace rocked up with the camera and that. And
Yeah.
I didn't know whether it was like a little milestone or something.
Mm.
And then all the boys had tapped me on the shoulder, going, "You're in." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just be calm here." And and then he sort of read out the team and then told me, and it was pretty surreal. Obviously a lot of emotions going through my head, and it was a pretty cool moment. Told me to get up the front and do a little bit of a speech, which didn't go that great, but I was obviously pretty rattled, and it was, I don't know, a lot of emotions come at the one time, so I didn't have much in my head, which if you saw the footage you'd probably realise. But I gave a better speech at my jersey presser, I hope.
What goes through your head, bro? Is it like, man, I'm so stoked, I want to call my parents? Or are you just like, holy crap, I really need to prepare for this week? Is it a mix of kind of everything?
No, I think I was more just like the emotion of something that, I've been looking forward to and like working for my whole life, if that makes sense. That, it was really a reality at that point. And I didn't really think too much about the game or ringing my parents, obviously, and rang my parents and my missus after. But mainly just like everything sort of comes to you in that moment. And that was sort of why I was a bit speechless, yeah.
What were those phone calls like back home, bro? Because obviously Magic Round, so the game's in Australia as well, so probably easier for your parents and loved ones to travel to.
Yeah. I rang my missus first. She was on her way to work with one of her workmates, and they were in the car, and she didn't answer at first.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Do I answer?" And I said, yeah. So she answered, and that was a pretty cool moment. She cried, so it was a pretty special moment to be able to tell her. And then obviously rang mum and dad. Dad was at work, and then mum was at home working. So they were obviously pretty stoked, and they obviously seen how hard the journey's been for me, and how much it's taken for me to get here. And I think it was a good moment for them as well.
So you found out on Tuesday. Us fans found out about an hour before kickoff, which was obviously a bit of a tactic from Webby and the coaching staff. Were you stoked with how that kind of played out? Because I guess the media attention around you debuting could have been a bit of a distraction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am pretty happy that he did that. It took a lot of the pressure off. Obviously, not naming me, no one had any expectations until sort of a couple of whispers came out towards the end of the week, but by then I was sort of content with where I was at with it, so I wasn't too worried about what would happen from there. And it was pretty good the way that he did it. He looked after me, so yeah.
We mentioned your family and friends. I actually bumped into them all at the top of Caxton Street, making their way down to the game.
They told me about that.
It was pretty easily identifiable. They were the only ones getting around in Sam Healey custom-made tees, and I hadn't actually seen the lineup, the updated lineup. It hadn't come out yet, so I was like, there we go, he's debuting. He's debuting. And they basically all your mates said, now that they're honorary Warriors fans, they gave us a couple up the wires too. So they're brought in. But the key for me was the head tape the lads were rocking. What's the go there? Obviously, they wanted to mimic you on the field. But that was a nice touch.
No, I don't know. I think I might have given them the idea, actually, because I said, no, we were at breakfast, or had a coffee or whatever with them before, and I said, imagine he's rocked up with all the the head tape and that on, and they sort of smiled. I don't know whether they were planning it beforehand, and then I ran out, and I was nervous and I ran out, and then I turned around and seen all them with the head tape on, and drunk and fucking around and everything. So like instantly just calm my nerves and everything. So no, it was a good touch from them. It was mad.
You had a front row seat to what was a pretty roller coaster of a game there for 65 odd minutes. Your emotions just watching that and knowing that you could be inserted into the game at any stage. How were you feeling about how everything was unfolding, and what were the comms coming down to you, I guess?
Yeah, I didn't really get told. I got told beforehand like a couple of scenarios that I could be put in, and then obviously, when they started coming back and the momentum sort of changed, it was getting a bit tighter, and I thought, oh God, may not be a chance here, but lucky Webby sort of trusted me in that moment. I think, like I'm glad that he sort of had the faith to put me on in such a tight contest, and just grateful we won.
Does that fill you with confidence, bro? Because we were talking about it before. So often now in close games like that where momentum might be going against you, you got someone on debut, could be tempting to just back the 16 lads that have all played first grade before, but instead he threw you in the deep end and he knew you could rise to that occasion. Does that kind of give you a bit of confidence moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously from the day that I got to the club, like Webby sat me down and he's given me nothing but reassurance and confidence that he believes in me, and that's something that a lot of coaches in the past haven't given me. I've had a few along the way that have, but to have it at sort of this level, someone believe in me and always back me, and like he's such a good person to have in my corner, and he's honest. He'll tell me if I'm not doing something well, or if I am, or like he's always happy to give me honest feedback, and I know it's coming from a good place. So he's mad.
You came on after the Metcalf try saver, and it looked like you came on at lock. Was that one of the scenarios you'd been told about pre-game, or was that just a bit of improv?
That was a bit of improv, I think. I don't know what was going on there, but I just obviously stitched Des up a bit, but after that I was just trying to bring energy, in that sort of situation. There was like we were on the back foot and they sort of had all the momentum, and Met did that good try saver to in the corner there. So I think it's just important in those sort of situations, back end of the game when everyone's been on the field for a long time, if someone can bring a bit of energy and like sort of lift the boys up a little bit, like that was the role I was trying to play, and like I tried to do that with my defense and just line speed and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Because you are a bigger body for a 9. Have you always been a 9, or have you spent some time in the middle before?
Nah, not. I probably played one game at lock when I was 15, but
so quite different then.
Yeah. I used to be a half. So when I was probably until I was 17, I was a half, and then I transitioned into hooker, and I've been there ever since. So I'm not too used to playing different positions, but I'm sure if I did some reps or whatever, I'd be all right. But
Yeah, you mentioned trying to bring energy. There were 2 big plays that you were a part of, one diving on that loose ball. The second one I thought was going to be one of the greatest try assists on debut of all time. I was actually watching it with SJ riding at home, and he was that confident you'd pulled it off. He was saying this was the start of one of the great careers.
You were confident
I
was pretty happy with it. I thought I was sweet, but then I looked up at the screen and the ball gone dead. And oh no! But I was still in, but like that's what I was happy with. And
you're like, I've done my part.
Yeah. And I thought they were worried about wets.
Yeah, gotcha. So you
in
thought
B-
you were good.
Yeah,
like,
so I
I've
thought I
nailed
was
this.
sweet. I was like, oh, well, this is like
all on
something I've
wets.
stuffed up. But like, and then the ball bounced dead. And it was a bit off the cuff, but yeah.
On reflection, like Magic Round, an unreal way to make a debut, to be involved in a game like that in game 1 and have that much of an impact too, and ride home a massive win for the team. Like, you must be pretty stoked with how it all played out.
Yeah. Obviously the boys are going really well at the moment. Had a really, obviously a bit of a tough start to the year in Vegas, but I think we knew that wasn't the way, like the way that we play, and like we all knew that. Like, even obviously I wasn't in the team then, and I haven't been until last week. So even all us cup boys, we knew that like the identity of what we're trying to strive for, that wasn't us. And I think you've sort of seen it, like the way, like how tough the boys are playing and sort of the end-to-end sort of style that they want to play. And I think that starts with like the boys in the middle, the Barnes, the Fish, as like they're really leading the way, and Met and Chanel are sort of playing off the back of that, and both having really good years. So yeah, I think to be part of such a gritty win, especially like the first half that we had, and then for them to come back and then us to hold them out. Like obviously they had all the momentum going toward the end of the game, and for us to hold them out, it was pretty good.
I was going to touch on like the adversity you guys overcame in that game, because everyone talks about how gritty the Warriors have been this year, but we're Kossi playing through injury, we're Capes out in the centres. Like it seemed like everything that could potentially go wrong, did go wrong towards the end there, but still the lads hang tough. And from people on the outside looking in that weren't that keen of an observer, they probably wouldn't even know that anything was wrong. Like where does that come from within the team? Is that led by coaches, players?
Yeah, it's obviously we had a really tough preseason, like probably the toughest one I've been a part of, and I think a lot of the boys would say that. Like it was a lot of tough wrestle sessions, defense sessions, and just trying to develop that hard edge. And like Barney goes on about it a lot, and like it's true, you need it. And I think you can see in the way that he plays, like there's no nonsense, and like it doesn't matter where you are, what number you got on the back of the jersey, where you're playing, like you just got to do a job. And I think everyone's sort of buying into that. Like it doesn't matter, like I came on a lock, you're just expected to do your role for the team. And I think that's just sort of started from the leaders, and obviously Webby and the staff sort of driving that.
Wanted to touch on the crowd as well, because obviously you've played home games here for the cup side, but Magic Round is pretty different, and the Warriors fans really took over. How was that atmosphere to be a part of too?
No, it was insane. I didn't really go out to the field beforehand because obviously it started raining, so I was just in the sheds, and then as soon as we ran out, there was like it was pretty packed because it was one of the main games on the main day. So it was pretty insane. I never played in front of a crowd like that before, so it was pretty cool. But once I was sort of out there, I didn't really think about it too much. So I was more just trying to focus on like trying to get myself in the game. So yeah.
You mentioned it was a lifelong dream. Does that put even more fire in the belly now to, push for first grade regularly?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be playing in the team every week, and I think I have something to offer in depending on what the team needs that week. And obviously Webby's going to do the right thing, and he's going to pick based on who he thinks should be best in the team, and I'm happy for him to have whoever he thinks is best, and I'll back him. And but obviously I'd love to be playing week in, week out, but if I'm not, I just got to go back to New South Wales Cup, keep playing good footy, and banging out minutes. Obviously the last couple of years I haven't played a lot of minutes, so and more primarily come off the bench in sort of a bench role. So I think that's been good for me as well, trying to get some minutes in New South Wales Cup as well.
Yeah, because the Cup side's going great guns, right? Sitting top of the ladder, another dominant win on the weekend. How strong is the depth in the club at the moment, and how much does that like competition for spots kind of push everyone?
Oh, it's actually pretty crazy. You go across the board and you look at some of the names that are in that New South Wales Cup team.
It's an NRL side,
How the hell are some of these blokes in here? Like Tamati and Tanner, and like there's a lot of boys in that team that should be, or that are first grade sort of players, and guys that have excelled at that level. So it's pretty good, and we're always, obviously we're training against each other at training. So the competition's been really good, and we're just trying to do it. When you're with New South Wales Cup, you're trying to do your best to prepare the first grade squad, and then obviously there's a lot of guys nipping on everyone's heels, so that only helps the first grade boys get better as well.
Yeah, just on that, because everyone always says it's a massive step up from Cup to first grade, but when you're training alongside guys that are regular first graders and have played a whole bunch of games, does that make that step up a little easier, or were you like, wow, this is a big lift?
Obviously it was a bit of a step up, yeah, obviously the speed of it and everything, but yeah, I think training and training against guys that do it week in, week out, and I think it's pretty good for me. I'm usually in that cup team that versus the first grade team, so I've got probably the form lock of the comp in Aaron, and then two of the best front rowers in the comp in
it's
Barney and Fish, and which is good. It's something that I've needed, and obviously having to defend and wrestle and get used to the contact, and that's really good preparation, and I think that really helped me on the weekend. Yeah.
You mentioned you've been struggling for minutes over the last couple of years. How have you found the daily grind, I guess, of being involved in an NRL squad from the preseason to the training? I don't think people realise how relentless it all is and how much it can take a toll on your body and how long that takes to get used to as well.
Yeah, I reckon it's a bit better. It's obviously.
Oh, you're young enough, eh?
Yeah,
when you ask certain boys. Oh, are you the king of the massage table?
Nah. It has its perks. A lot of time on off and everything, sort of to let your body recover. But in preseason, obviously, I've had a couple at Cronulla, so I knew what to expect there. But obviously, when I was at Newtown and that, I would train in the arvos, and I was a sparky, so I'd get up at 5, 6 in the morning, go to work all day, then go straight to training and do that 2, 3, 4 times a week. And so obviously this is a lot better coming in and training and playing footy during the day. It's something that I love to do. So to be able to do it for a job is pretty cool. Yeah.
So fair to say you don't miss the tools at this stage?
I loved it, but it definitely had its days. Crawling around in roofs isn't fun. So
yeah, I can imagine. You've referenced Cronulla there a couple of times, so I guess we should talk about your background as well. Obviously, your old man, I think, 5th most capped Sharks player of all time, so he's a well-known club legend, and you were actually born in the UK, your Wikipedia says, and I'm always nervous on Wikipedia because anyone can go in and edit anything and it could be a stitch-up, but just change it up there, claim him as one of us, he can play for the Kiwis, that would be great stuff, but tell us a little bit about your upbringing, I guess, being brought up around the game so much. Was it love at first sight with rugby league, or were you a bit off it at the start?
No, so obviously Dad, he had a pretty good career at Cronulla. He played 200 odd games there at the one club, and obviously went overseas and played another 3 years, I think, over with Castleford, and that's where I was born over there. So I spent a couple of years over there before obviously Dad retired and we moved back to the Shire. So obviously it came with its difficulties having Dad, especially living in the Shire and being around Cronulla. Obviously, people have got a lot to say around Dad and me being places because of my dad, and that was something I've always hated and found difficult. But I think especially because I wasn't very good when I was a bit younger, but
find that hard to believe. Sure.
Oh no, I wasn't very good.
Right.
Yeah, I was sort of a late bloomer. I didn't really develop until I was maybe 17.
Yeah, right.
So I probably was about 50 kilos wringing wet in Maddie's Cup and the first year of SG Ball. So I played 3 games of Maddie's Cup, got dropped. Then I didn't play another game until I was maybe 18, 19.
Yeah, right.
And then, that was right. So we did 2 years of SG Ball because of COVID. So I didn't play the first year. The second year I played 3 games at the end of the year. And then the year after that was my first 20s year. And then obviously last year and the year before. So, it's obviously a bit of a different path to get where I've gotten to. But no, I wouldn't change it. It was... it's something that's sort of shaped who I am, and sort of the hard work that I've had to put in to get to where I am is made it a lot more special as well. Yeah,
because it does come with extra pressure, right? Like a lot of people kind of see that as a privilege, but at the same time, people expect a lot from you, don't they?
Yeah. Obviously, as I touched on, I wasn't the greatest player and I wasn't the biggest player, so I struggled a bit. And if I got picked in teams, it was, he's getting picked because of his dad. If I didn't get picked in teams, he can't even get picked, and his dad's so and so at Cronulla.
Crazy,
that sort of thing. So, and that was something I always struggled with. Like the locker room chat and all the boys talking about it, and I really hated it. I did, and but it got to a point where, like, that first year of 20s, where I just had to. I got the starting job at the start of the year, and I just, like, that was my sort of chance to like make it my own and do it without it being part of Dad, even though Dad was my assistant coach at Jersey Flag, which made it hard, even harder. But I said to my coach at the time, I said, look, I don't want to, like, if you don't want to pick me, don't pick me, because I don't want all the drama that's going to come with it. I want to be there because of it. I've earned it.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want all the drama and everything. But I never used to talk to my dad at training, so we'd just ignore each other. And I'd call him Mitch. So like half of the boys, honestly, at the end of the year, some of them come up to me on, like, right before the end of the year, saying I didn't even know he was your dad. Because we swear to God.
So he didn't call you son or anything like that?
No. Just call me Sam, and then I'd call him Mitch, and then if there was, like, half would go, half would go with one coach, half would go with the other. I'd go with the other coach and never go with my dad, because I just didn't want anything to be sort of, obviously they were going to say what they were going to say. I didn't want anything else to be added onto that. So, I tried to make it.
In a way, bro, does that make the weekend even more satisfying? Like, you've come over here and you've made it your own thing, and you've made your debut on your own accord thanks to all your hard work. Does that make that your kind of journey through the grades even more satisfying and worthwhile?
Yeah, absolutely. It was obviously what people say at Cronulla, and then for me, it was a big decision, and a big reason in why I made the decision to come over here was obviously stepping out of sort of his shadow and trying to be my own man, be my own person in a different and, like, obviously get out of the Sydney sort of area, and, like, obviously no one really knew me over here, so they'd make the connection, but my dad had nothing to do with the club. It was everything that I got was based on what I'd done, if that makes sense. So it makes it a lot more satisfying that I was able to achieve it, and, like, no one can sort of say that my dad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously you're here now. So how did that kind of move come about? Because I know you played Newton Jets last year and won the comp. Was it off the back of that and some great form in that competition? And who reached out to you? Were you surprised when it all came about? Because I guess moving to the Warriors probably wasn't something you'd thought about, really.
Yeah, I think, like, so 2 years ago when I played half year at 20s and half year at Cup, we played over here, and it was my first game starting in a Cup game, and I played pretty good. And then we came back round one last year versus the Warriors, and I played pretty good again.
Yeah.
And then midway through the year, they sort of, Cappy and Webby made contact and said that they were interested, and I think it probably off the back of playing over here and in front of them. But obviously our team was pretty stacked at Newtown. We had a pretty good side, so it was a bit easier to get recognised because I was in such a good team, and I wasn't playing a massive role in that team. I would probably come on for anywhere between 30 to sometimes 50 minutes a game at hooker, and just try and bring energy, try and just I'm pretty off the cuff most of the time, so just back myself, and I got a bit of a touch background, so, like, a lot of what I do out of hooker is based on being in the middle in touch, and how a lot of practice that I've had there, so
Yeah, because even on the weekend, like you like to get out a bit and ball play, don't you? And play a bit of what's in front of you, even that fifth tackle, little grubber through. Is that your halves and touch background coming through? Like you just back your instincts?
Yeah, I think so. Like obviously, at the time footy wasn't going that great for me, and when I was a bit younger, so I more lent towards touch, and like I'd play two times a week, plus I'd play Oz tag as well. So, yeah, and I really enjoyed touch because obviously the contact wasn't there and I couldn't get ran over.
Yeah.
So,
I still can't believe you were like 50 kilos.
I was tiny, honestly.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, like especially playing dummy half and the way that you dump and split and all the picking the ball up and long balls and short balls, everything like that, and sort of the recognition around what's in front of you in that situation. I think that's sort of helped me develop that skill. Yeah.
Just back on the move to the Warriors, it's probably a pretty scary move for a young lad. Did you know any of the boys in the team that you could reach out to and just ask them what to expect? And
Nah. I knew Tanner Smith, so when I come over here, I went had a drink after the game, and I met him out. But like for about an hour, that's all I knew. So that was he was the only one that I knew, and then I did the rookie camp a day before I moved over, and I met Jet and Lukey Hansen there.
Yeah.
And I get on pretty well with them boys now. So like that sort of helped me a little bit when I first came, but yeah, it was obviously pretty daunting walking into the first grade sheds. Like it wasn't like I'd played a couple of games here and there somewhere else. It's no one knew who I was. So going in and trying to talk to Mitch Barnett, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, how was the first day, bro? Because you walk in and there's some players that you've watched on TV. There's some big lads. Like, who was the icebreaker that reached out to you first, and you thought, hang on, I might do all right here?
Lukey Matt looked after me. I don't really know him that well at like Cronulla. I think I might have met him only once, but like he sort of, we sort of had that connection that we were both at Cronulla, so. He looked after me a bit when I first got there and made me feel welcome. All the boys were pretty good. Obviously it takes a bit of time to build a relationship, but once you sort of been there for a while, it kind of comes naturally. So yeah.
Well, we'll let you go, bro, because we've held you up for long enough. But congratulations again on the debut. You've become into a bit of a fan favourite. I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but everyone wants to see a bit more of Sam Healey. So well done on the weekend, bro, and hopefully it's the first of many.
Sweet. Thanks, mate. Thanks
for having us. Man. Cheers, bro.